DeVonta Smith has scored 3 touchdowns on the same passing play, but in 3 different ways. Let's dive into the details to see what has made this play work. Each play comes from the same formation. 3 wide receivers on one side of the ball with a tight end as a lone player on the opposite side of the ball. The running back is always aligned in the backfield on the same side of the tight end. The first play we're going to look at is DeVonta's touchdown against the Panthers. Against the Panthers, the Eagles aligned DeVonta as the number 3 receiver. The Panthers are in man coverage, but similar to the Eagles defense, they leave their corner on the backside and have a safety cover the number 3 receiver. DeVonta has a plus matchup and he runs an out route for an easy touchdown. But also notice AJ Brown and Jahan Dotson as the number 1 and number 2 receivers. The Eagles design a rub concept with AJ running a slant, while Dotson screens AJ's defender on his way to the flat. The Panthers defenders don't switch on the rub routes and AJ comes free on the slant. Jalen liked the pre-snap matchup and the ball goes to DeVonta for the touchdown, but with this in mind, let's jump to the Steelers game. Against the Steelers, the Eagles add some window dressing and align DeVonta as the number 3 receiver before motioning him to number 1. This makes it easier for DeVonta to get a free release as the defensive back can't get fully set before the snap as he adjusts with the motion. The Steelers defense is in man coverage, and the Eagles run the same exact concept except DeVonta is running the slant and AJ is running the out route. This time, the defenders switch and pass off the routes to each other, but DeVonta is still able to out leverage the Steelers corner and catch another touchdown. But notice what Dotson does when he recognizes the defenders have switched on the rub routes. He pivots back inside and runs a return route. The return route uses the defender's leverage against them. If the inside corner maintained his leverage on DeVonta, then Dotson would be the next read in the progression. Would Jalen have been able to make the throw with the blitzing safety and Minkah Fitzpatrick bearing down on him?
I guess we'll never know.
But still, we see the layers and intricacies in the play design. The last 2 plays show how the Eagles will use this play to attack man coverage, but what if the defense isn't in man? Well, let's go back to week 2. Again, we see the 3-by-1 formation with 3 receivers to one side and the tight end on the solo side. This time we see Smitty again lined up as the number 3 receiver. The Falcons are running quarters, but with an adjustment to be able to better handle the stress that trips formations can put on a defense. In order to maintain their split field safety look, they run a coverage often referred to as stubby, although this will vary greatly from coach to coach so that the terminology fits into their language. That's not important though. What's important is the coverage itself. The outside corner will guard the number 1 receiver man to man. The nickel corner will guard the number 2 receiver on anything out or vertical, while the safety will guard number 3 on anything vertical. If the number 3 receiver doesn't go vertical, then the safety will look to double the number 2 or the number 1 receiver based on how the routes play out. The linebacker is going to match and deliver number 3 to the safety if he runs vertical, or work to the flat if he breaks underneath and outside. Notice that the safety is aligned with outside leverage on the number 3 receiver. That is because teams will try to isolate that safety and take advantage of all that space to the outside and throw corner routes. That's exactly how the Steelers were able to throw a touchdown to Pat Freiermuth. CJ Gardner-Johnson didn't align with outside leverage and allowed the tight end to get outside of him. Now back to the Falcons game. The Eagles run the same rub route combination with the number 1 and number 2 receivers, but instead of running an out route from the number 3 receiver like in the previous clips, the Eagles take advantage of the safety trying to maintain his outside leverage. DeVonta runs directly at the safety before chopping his feet, which allows him to eat up the safety's cushion while giving him a split base that affords him the ability to cut in either direction. The safety drifts to his outside and gives DeVonta space to break on the post. When we look at Jalen Hurts, at the snap, he stares at the weak side safety to hold him in his place before quickly getting his eyes back to DeVonta Smith and delivering a quick strike for a beautiful touchdown. 1 play, 3 touchdowns, 3 different ways.